Hey guys, we're live again. Pretty excited about tonight actually. It's the first time back in Perth, back in my little office here. Obviously been in Sweden and Helsinki, sorry, Sweden and Finland for the last 3 weeks. So I'm pretty happy to be back. Overall it was a really good experience. Fun times were had with the guys, the students, the girls, pretty much everything. Did a lot of filming, did a lot of vlogs, did a lot of coaching, did a lot of general hanging out, did a lot of girls. But anyway, let's get straight into tonight. So we're going to try and do things a little bit differently tonight. I'm going to go over all the questions. There's some really good questions in here, which I probably spent the last half an hour to an hour going over. So I'm really trying to spend a little bit more time giving you guys as much value as I can based on the questions that you're answering. So previously I was sort of going over things all on the fly. Hey Gerardo. And that was working really well. But some of the questions sort of do need a little bit more insight and development. So I have gone over all these ones in a bit more detail. So it's kind of like a little bit of freestyle and a little bit of prior sort of research and understanding, such as looking at your profiles, going over a little bit more about who you are, so I can get a better insight into the questions that you're asking. Because as soon as I see your profiles, as soon as I meet someone in person, as soon as I see someone's body language, eye contact, how they deal with girls, all these sorts of things, I'm immediately getting a much better understanding of you as a person, which is the most important thing to helping guys get better. Okay, the more information I know about someone, or the more sort of intel I can get on someone, the better I can sort of understand them and really sort of get a feel for where their questions are coming from. If it's just, a random question without going over someone's profile, without really knowing about them, then it's much harder to answer. How's Sweden going, Gerardo? Hope you're enjoying the last week there, mate. Yeah, really good to spend some time with you, and hope things are going well for you. So moving on from that, guys, if you guys want to call in tonight, I'm going to give it a trial. So you need to be friends with me on Facebook, and if I can please ask that you just give me a call on Messenger. I'm hoping it's not going to conflict too much with the live stream. But yeah, let's give it a shot. Hopefully it will work. If we don't get any calls, no problem, I'll just answer all the questions. I know it's a bit of an odd time period here. It's sort of, 2 p.m. in Sweden, I think 1 p.m. in London, it's 8 where I am, it's 10 in Sydney, and it's, sort of quite late in the States. So it's a bit of an odd time frame, but nonetheless, we'll get into the questions. I know you guys can all look at this later, so that's like a really good thing, is you can just go back and look at this in your own time. But yeah, let's get into the questions. So, Catch Canister asks, in my experience, sexual investment is the name of the game. I think most guys do not understand how investment works that well in general, which is what causes so many guys to escalate at the wrong time or just be completely lost in the sauce on what to do and when to do it. If you could talk about your views on how investment works generally, that would be great. My question, however, is how do you progress your interactions when you game so it goes from zero investment / sexual investment from the girl on the cold approach to the girl chasing you, meaning investment to the point where she is being obvious and spelling it out to you that she wants you to give her sex. I would think that there are certain things the girl may say or a certain way she might say them, and if you keep the focus on the interaction there to allow the investment to begin to get heavy on her end and increase her chasing you. Okay, let's start with the topic of investment, and I guess you investing in her and her investing in you. Okay, so the term investment, what does it mean? It's to put some sort of time or energy into something so that you in turn get a return from it, or get something of value in a trade or exchange of your time and energy. Okay, so if you think about investing in property or stocks or gold or some sort of commodity like that, okay, why are you doing that? Or why would you want to do that? It's because you get something from it in return that you perceive to be of value. Would you invest in it? Would you put your money in a bad investment or something that was not going to give you any return? No, absolutely not. Would a girl invest in you if she was not getting anything from you or didn't perceive you to be of any value? No, absolutely not. So the whole premise of investment or investing is you putting your time and energy into something that you're getting, something that you perceive to be of value. Okay, so it all comes back to, you know, the golden golden idea of giving value or being of value. And, you know, everyone should have some idea now of how to be of value, or how to provide value, or how to be a valuable guy to the woman, right? These sorts of things are being fun, being cool, giving her a sense of excitement, giving her a sense of self-worth at times, giving her all these emotions that she probably is generally not getting from guys that are chodes, that don't know how to treat women, that don't know how to be good with women, that are taking value or trying to, you know, see her as some sort of object, or, you know, something that's not conducive to her getting any benefit from it, okay? It needs to be, in her mind, a win-win, and in your mind, a win-win. So whenever I'm trying to game a girl, I'm trying to make her feel good, and I'm simultaneously trying to make her invest in me because she sees me as someone that gets it, or gets her, and gets myself. To go on that, or to develop on that a little bit further, if a girl feels comfortable around a guy, if a girl feels excited around a guy, if a girl feels that she can be herself and is not judged around a guy, that she can do what she wants and she can be sexually forthcoming and express herself, all these sorts of things are sort of building upon the foundations of her wanting to invest in you, whether it's, you know, that night or during the week that you've met her. These are the things that you kind of essentially need to do to get her to go, okay, here's my chips, I need to put them on the table and buy in on you, because I haven't experienced or felt this kind of thing from a guy for a little while. So, alright, let's see where the night goes. Let's see where this is going to take us. Now, yes, you're right in saying that most guys can escalate at the wrong time, or just completely be, you know, lost in the whole interaction, the whole pickup. That does happen from time to time, and, you know, that's a classic term of calibration, or knowing when and where to do things. And I won't get into that too much in the context of this webinar, because it's a little bit of a, you know, I need to see when someone's doing the wrong thing, or when they're doing, you know, becoming too physical too early, or where they're going for the pool too early, where they're not, you know, perhaps seeding the idea of getting food later, or going home with the girl later, and that sort of thing. So I won't get too much into that, because that is absolutely very contextual. However, it definitely comes down to time and consciousness when you're in set, okay? So the more time you spend in set with girls, the better understanding and the better you're going to be able to pick up on the little nuances, okay, of when she's, you know, getting a little bit closer to you, or when she's turning her feet towards you because she's more interested or invested in you. Like all these sorts of little things, I can pick up on these things very quickly and see guys doing it in set very quickly, but it's a little bit hard to comment on that, and you know, when guys are doing the wrong thing, or how specifically you're doing the wrong thing. I'll come to your question in a sec, Gerardo. I'll just finish this off and then I'll come back to it, so hang in there. Hey, Krish. But yeah, getting back to Catch, you know, I think that there's certain things that the girl might say, or a certain way she might say them. Generally not, she won't tend to say them. She'll generally become quite passive, or quite sort of like at attention. So she won't be like, okay, so it's time to pull me home now. Well, maybe she will, maybe she won't. Hey, Aaron, how you doing, bro? But she will generally, you know, she's not going to go like, okay, can you pull me home now, please, or can you take me home now, please? She's waiting for you to do that. She's waiting for you to lead. So there's definitely indicators of interest that a girl will give you, and, you know, they're the classical things like her, you know, playing with her hair, giving you her attention, standing by, like literally standing there. You know, she might not be saying anything, but she's looking at you. She hasn't left. She's giving you attention. You know, and that's especially for younger girls. They kind of like, it's almost like they feel quite awkward or weird, and you're like, oh, what the fuck, this girl's weird, or she's a bit awkward. But often that's when she actually likes you, and she feels awkward because she doesn't necessarily know what to do. So you do have to be sort of on watch for younger girls now. Like, for example, there was a very young 18-year-old girl in Helsinki that I was with. She was very gorgeous, and I was talking to her for some time, and she was just like kind of didn't know what to say. You know, obviously I was speaking English to her, and perhaps her English wasn't her strong point, so she was very awkward, and I was like, hold on, does this girl actually like me, or is she just being awkward or weird? And I just thought about it for 5 seconds. I'm like, of course, she's young, she doesn't know what to do, she doesn't speak English that well. And it became immediately apparent that I just had to step up, take control of the situation, come sit down, meet my friends, and bring them to the circle. And then, she wouldn't leave all night. She was literally sitting there. Whenever I was talking to other girls, she was like looking at me. She's like, come and sit here, don't talk to those girls, all that sort of stuff. So it's never going to be spelt out to you, or it's the exception to the rule if it's spelt out to you. And in fact, some girls, in certain parts of Europe, which I've only just really experienced myself, but in other parts of the world, Australia, America, they will just go take me home or fuck me, all that sort of stuff. But it is the exception to the rule, guys. So you need to be aware of the women's social cues more than anything. That's the most important thing. It's all about body language generally for a woman. And if you can become very good at reading a body language and very good at, sort of deciphering the emotional code of women through what they're doing, you can, naturally, you have a big step up on the next guy. You have, I like to describe it or call it as like seeing the Matrix. You can see what girls want. You can see how they're reacting without them having to spell it out for you, okay? And they don't want to spell it out for you. They want to give you their little kind of like secret little girl code, and then for you to step up and you to be the man, you to take control and make it happen. That's just the way it works. Anything else on this topic that I want to add? Okay, catch, just as a little side note, as I said, I go over guys' profiles and I'm trying to figure out who they are as much as I can from their profile, how they come across, all these sorts of things. I went to your profile, nothing, okay, no photos, nothing, no sort of expression whatsoever on who you are as a person. So that instantly says to me, you're probably going to be replicating what you're doing on social media when you're out being social with actual people. So I would keep that in mind and think, if you're not revealing anything about yourself, or you're not telling a story, or you're not, really giving a girl an insight as to what it's going to be like to come and spend time with you or come into your world, if you're not able to do that on social media, mate, how are you going to be able to do that, in the club, interacting with women? So for me, that's probably like quite an obvious sticking point already, and something that I would want to overcome and look into a little bit deeper before, really going balls deep into the whole sexual investment and that sort of stuff. So just a little like preface, I would definitely look at that and see what's happening there. But yeah, thank you for your message about all the hard work and all that sort of stuff. I really appreciate it. Alright, next one. Huang Tran. I think this question is regarding more to night game and day game group sets. How do I 100% believe that I'm the best to offer her values when I feel intimidated by her alpha male, her provider, her cool friends, etc.? Okay, so what Huang's asking is, how do I offer value and get past, her group of friends, her guys, her whoever she is hanging around her, and how do I 100% believe that I'm the best? Okay, again, I've had a look at your profile, and I think you definitely need a little bit of work on some expression, and probably similar to what I said to the last guy, Catch. And you do have like a little bit of sort of awkwardness about you, or a little bit of uncertainty about you, and I get that immediately from your profile. However, I want you to fake it until you make it, okay? It is very hard to have that 100% belief that you're the best. Do you need to believe that you're the best? I don't think so. Some others will say that you will need to, and there is definitely value in approaching high quality girls and believing you're the best and coming off as that, real alpha male, like, she is your girl for that night and that's it. Would I recommend that for you? Probably not, because it's going to be hard for you to 100% deliver on that at this stage in your game, looking at your profile and the kind of questions that you're asking. So I would fake it till you make it, but I wouldn't worry so much about 100% belief that you're the best. I would go in there, I would be cool, I would address the group, I would be fun, I would be offering value. Chances are her alpha male friends standing around are just going to be standing around being boring, because that's how they generally